Rio de Janeiro, the Cidade Maravilhosa.
Yeah,
That phrase alone, it paints such a vivid picture, doesn't it?
it really does.
You're thinking endless summer, these perfect beaches, and, the Christ the Redeemer statue with his arms open.
A serene welcome.
Exactly. Everyone assumes they're walking into this simple, relaxing, tropical paradise, ready to just switch off and soak up the sun.
Uh-huh.
And we are here today after digging through months of sourcing everything from economic reports to really practical traveler blogs to tell you that, assuming that,
Yeah.
that is the single most fundamental, most costly, and honestly most potentially dangerous error you can make.
It is absolutely not a paradise, not in that traditional, resort sense.
Right.
It is, and this is really the core logistical truth that all the sources kept pointing to. It's a massive, sprawling, chaotic urban center.
A megalopolis.
A megalopolis of 6 million people that just so happens to be pressed up against some of the most spectacular granite-backed coastline in the world.
So if you go there looking for, Tulum, Punta Cana.
Exactly. If you're looking for simple, uncomplicated resort quality, you will be so overwhelmingly disappointed. And probably stressed out of your mind. It's, for lack of a better term, it's a logistical beast.
But, and this is the crucial but, right, this is why we even do this deep dive, why we endure the beast, what you get back. The sheer return on investment for pure, unadulterated vibes is, it's unparalleled.
Right.
Globally.
There's nothing like it.
You go to Rio to feel your heartbeat. And sometimes that's from awe, when you see that skyline.
Or joy when you hear the first notes of samba.
Yes. And then sometimes it's from pure unmitigated fear when a motorcycle buzzes just a little too close.
Right. It's all of it at once. It's the most beautiful city on earth, and it feels like it's actively trying to rob you, hug you, and seduce you all at the same time.
That intensity, that dichotomy, that creates the big downside that every single source flagged. This constant low-level stress. We're calling it Rio paranoia.
And it is constant. You can never truly turn off that vigilance, that high-level sensory processing you need just to navigate the city is exhausting.
You're scanning every motorcycle driver who pulls up to a light.
Every shadow. You're always aware of a crowded street corner, always feeling for your pocket.
It's a lot.
Sustaining that level of alertness for a week is genuinely what breaks travelers. It's not one big event. It's the constant pressure.
Okay, let's unpack this then. We've got 3 sort of contrarian surprises that really challenged our own reading of the sources. These are the core takeaways from this deep dive.
Let's do it.
Number 1, Copacabana is often described as the single worst place to stay in the entire South Zone.
The sources are shockingly consistent on this. We went in expecting, the historical romance, the song.
Very mellow, all that.
Right. But the data shows this massive logistical strain. It's past its prime. It is an intensely crowded tourist trap.
And the infrastructure
Hasn't kept pace. The plumbing, the building maintenance, it feels like it's decaying. And the side streets, once you're off the main avenue at night, they are genuinely sketchy.
Okay, so surprise number 2. Forget the white tablecloths, forget the Michelin guide. The sources are unanimous. The best, most authentic, most superior food is in the botecos.
The little local bars with the plastic chairs.
The plastic chairs are the tell, right?
Absolutely. The ones with a slight smell of spilled beer. This is where the real cooking happens. It's authentic, provided you have the stomach for the local style and the no-frills setting.
And number 3, this is the one I think people will argue with.
This will be the most controversial, for sure, but we have to stand by what the data says.
You do not need to visit Christ the Redeemer to capture the spirit of Rio.
There it is.
Wait, okay, hold on. Are we seriously telling people to skip the single most iconic, beautiful structure on the continent, that view from the top, that 360-degree spectacle? Doesn't that offer something you just can't get from below?
It seems like cultural sacrilege, I know. It does.
It feels like it.
But it's a logistical recommendation. It's all about time management and your actual experience on the ground. The sources, when they detail the friction, the wait time.
How long are we talking?
Hours. You're waiting for the funicular, then maybe a van, then the final platform. The consensus is that it is the single biggest waste of your finite travel time in a city where every hour really, really counts.
And there are other ways to get that feeling of awe.
Multiple. High impact, immediate, and often free ways to connect with that geography that don't involve a 3-hour logistical headache.
Okay, let's get to the brutal honesty pledge. We have to talk numbers.
We do.
Compared to what the average North American or European traveler budgets, our synthesis suggests Rio is roughly 30% more expensive than you think it's going to be.
At least.
And yes, based on crime data and travel reports, it is about 20% more dangerous than the typical sanitized travel brochures will ever admit.
And that's the necessary context. That's the whole point of this. Our mission today is to get you past that brochure and hand you the operational manual.
The real playbook.
Exactly. We're providing those budget bands. We're detailing specific transport fixes, laying out the essential safety protocols, and most importantly, giving you the reality of what it actually feels like to walk the famous Kelso down.
So you can manage the chaos, harness those incredible vibes, and come home with only good stories.
That's the goal.
Let's get into the friction.
Let's do it.
So if we're looking at the current climate, why is Rio so relevant for travelers right now? We've seen that post-pandemic travel surge, obviously.
Right. It's everywhere.
But for Brazil specifically, the real has been, well, relatively stable against the dollar and the euro for the last few years.
Which makes it feel accessible on paper. It looks cheap to international visitors when you do that initial currency conversion.
But that's the trap.
It's a huge trap because that stability on the exchange side hides a crucial domestic truth. Real inflation inside Brazil is high.
What does that mean for a traveler?
It means the cost of basic things that locals buy, food, services, transport, has been going up and up. So while your dollars buy you more reals, the actual prices for a coffee or a mid-range dinner, or especially an apartment rental, have been rising sharply.
So you arrive expecting, what, Southeast Asia prices?
People do. They expect Central America or Thailand prices, and then they're just shocked by the cost of a decent meal or a safe place to stay.
And that economic friction, it's everywhere. It's reflected in the gap between what you see on social media and the actual reality on the ground.
Oh, completely. Instagram shows you that golden hour perfection. You see the girl from Ipanema, the perfect skin, the clean caipirinha on a spotless table.
What does the feed filter out?
The assault on the senses. The city is constantly loud.
And you don't mean like a pleasant background hum of a city?
No. This is aggressive, constant noise pollution. Roaring diesel buses, vendors shouting, music bleeding out of every storefront, often competing with 3 other songs from nearby shops.
And the air quality.
It's highly variable. In some of the deeper city pockets or near the big highways like the Linha Vermelha, it can be genuinely poor, and, you have to deal with the unpleasant realities.
Like the smell.
Like the open sewage smell that, depending on the tide and the wind, can hit you really aggressively near the Rodrigo de Freitas Lagoon. This is a powerful, dramatic place, but it is far from pristine.
But surely, if you're in Leblon or in a 5-star hotel, you can escape that, right? You're insulated from that intensity.
Only when you are physically inside the soundproofed walls of that hotel. The second you step outside, you're back in it.
Why?
Just look at the geography. It's a city of 6 million people squeezed so tightly between the Atlantic Ocean and these massive granite mountains. There is no escape from the density.
Which is why we have to define the trip.
You must define this trip up front as an urban beach adventure. If you go in thinking tranquil beach holiday, like Tulum or Punta Cana,
where relaxation is the default.
Exactly. You will be disappointed, you'll be overwhelmed, and you'll be far more likely to make the mistakes that lead to getting ripped off or worse. The urban problems, the traffic, the density, the noise, they come first. The beach is a bonus.
And that density, that geography, it doesn't just create sensory overload. It magnifies the profound inequality that sits right at the heart of the city.
We called this the cognitive dissonance that can really break an unprepared traveler.
It's stunning. You have these multi-million-dollar apartment buildings, some of the most expensive real estate on the continent, with these incredible ocean views.
Directly overlooked by a massive favela like Rocinha or Vidigal, communities where basic sanitation, clean water, that's all still a struggle. The proximity of extreme wealth and deep poverty isn't hidden away. It's everywhere. You see it from every beach, every terrace.
And that creates this huge emotional friction. You could be sipping a $15 cocktail on a fancy rooftop in Leblon.
And you look down at the traffic light, and there are kids juggling for coins or performers dancing with fire for pennies.
So for a traveler who finds that visible poverty just too jarring,
or someone who can't reconcile their own privilege with the deprivation right next to them, Rio will genuinely break their spirit. It demands a level of emotional maturity to handle that disparity without letting it ruin your trip.
So the planning priority is non-negotiable.
Absolutely not. The sources all stress this. Treat it as a city trip first, beach trip second. If you reverse that, if you let your guard down because you're in holiday beach mode,
You become a target.
you dramatically increase your vulnerability to opportunistic crime and exploitation.
Yeah.
You need to be street smart and city aware from the second you land.
This all sounds so heavy, though. We have to balance this with the actual culture.
Of course.
The karaoke spirit, the spirit of the locals, is what pulls people in. Despite all this pressure, they're resilient, they're funny, they're energetic, and so welcoming if you approach them with respect.
But energy is electric. It really is. But that welcoming spirit comes with a realistic caveat you have to understand for your own planning.
Which is?
They are also opportunistic, especially towards obvious foreigners. It's not malicious, it's just the reality of the economic system.
This is the gringo tax.
This is the gringo tax. As a visible tourist, you will almost always pay a little bit more for something. Whether it's an inflated price on a menu, a tough negotiation for a souvenir, or just a subtle hustle, understanding that is part of the preparation.
Okay, let's talk about that first impression. Getting into the city, you've got the airport dilemma.
Yeah.
2 main airports, and your choice here really sets the tone.
It really does. First, you have GIG, Galeon. That's the huge international hub. If you're flying from Europe or North America, you're probably landing at GIG.
And the problem is location.
It's far. It's way out. The area around it is industrial, not very scenic. And the drive into the south zone to Copacabana, Ipanema, it's going to take you 45 minutes to an hour.
On a good day.
On a good day.
There.
And that's right after a long flight when you're tired, you're vulnerable, and you're most likely to make a bad decision.
Which brings us to SDU, Santos Dumont.
SDU is the domestic airport, and it is spectacular. It's built on reclaimed land right in the city center. If you can make the effort to connect through São Paulo or another city just to land at SDU, you have to do it.
It's worth the extra hop.
100% worth it. The approach path alone. It's terrifying and magnificent. You descend over Guanabara Bay, and Sugarloaf Mountain feels so close you think the wing is going to clip it.
Wow.
It immediately immerses you in the dramatic topography of the city. It's a huge psychological head start on your trip.
So once you're on the ground, that first 24 hours is all about secure transport.
And Uber is unequivocally king in Rio. It's fast, it's reliable, it's cheap, and crucially, it gets rid of the language barrier and the negotiation that can lead to scams.
Oh, avoid the yellow taxis at the airport.
Strongly advise against just hailing a taxi outside. At GIG, if you have to take a cab, you must prepay at one of the official kiosks inside the terminal. There are regulated rates.
And if you walk outside?
You open yourself up to immediate price gouging. A driver might demand triple the fare rate because they know you're a tired, high-value target.
If you did land at GIG, that drive-in,
Yeah.
it's your real introduction to the city, isn't it?
It's your unvarnished introduction. You spend miles driving past the Marais complex. And Marais isn't just one favela, it's a cluster of 16 of them.
And you see the barriers.
You see these acoustic barriers along the highway, and you quickly realize they're not just for sound, they're reinforced concrete. They function as bullet shields against stray gunfire.
So that's your welcome.
It's a heavy, unavoidable reality check right away.
But then you hit what you call the punch-through moment.
Yes. You enter the Rebouças tunnel, and it acts like this physical and psychological wall between the north and the wealthy south zone. When you come out the other side, everything changes instantly.
How so?
You're in the Lagoa area. The air quality is visibly better. There's green everywhere. The architecture shifts to luxury apartments. This is the South Zone bubble, where all the wealth and tourist infrastructure is concentrated.
Okay, so you're settled in your hotel or Airbnb. What are the street-level first impressions?
The humidity, it's oppressive. It just wraps around you, makes everything feel a little damp. And the sensory input is still constant, the sounds, the smells of street food.
Yeah.
But when you get to the beaches, the chaos starts to look surprisingly organized.
Almost tribal.
Exactly. The beaches are this organized ecosystem, and it's all dictated by the postos, the numbered lifeguard towers.
And you have to know your posto.
You have to know your posto. It dictates the social tribe of that slice of sand.
So, for example, posto 8.
Posto 8 in Ipanema, you get a more diverse local crowd, a mix of residents from the nearby Cantagallo favela and the local LGBTQ community. It's very vibrant, very gritty.
But then you walk 100 meters to Post 09.
And the vibe flips completely. Post 09 is the epicenter of the trendy, affluent social scene. This is where you see the designer sunglasses, the tiny bikinis, the beautiful people.
And if you're with your family?
You'd probably head down to Post 010, over towards Leblon. It's much quieter, more family-oriented, more residential.
And the sales pressure, especially at Post 09, is intense.
Oh, it's relentless, but in this oddly friendly way. We sat down, and within 30 seconds, literally 30 seconds, we were offered cheese on a stick, a selection of bikinis, weed, and a caipirinha.
It's an efficient system.
And here's the detail that blows everyone's mind. The vast majority of these vendors, even the guy grilling cheese on a little charcoal hibachi,
Takes credit cards.
he takes credit cards. They all have these little card machines connected to their phones. It shows you how deeply the entire city is integrated into the electronic payment system.
And that efficiency, it actually helps with the paranoia, doesn't it?
It does. You arrive clutching your bag, scared to take your phone out. But after an hour of watching this organized chaos, the rhythm just takes over. The anxiety subsides a bit once you realize the crime is mostly opportunistic, as long as you're not being flashy.
And the high point of that rhythm is the sunset.
The sunset ritual. When the sun dips behind the Dos Hermanos mountains, people just stop. They put down their beers and they clap.
The whole beach applauds.
A wave of applause just moves down the beach. It's this powerful, real moment of collective joy that cuts right through all the noise and the stress.
All right, let's open the spreadsheets. Time to face the gringo tax head on.
Let's do it.
For clarity, we're going to use a stable exchange rate, roughly 5 Brazilian reals to $1 US. So we established Rio isn't cheap like Thailand. Where does that cost hit you the hardest?
Accommodation, without a doubt. The quality of price ratio in hotels it's poor compared to other major global cities.
Let's break it down, the backpacker tier.
Okay, so hostels like Selena or smaller local posadas, you can find a dorm bed for $20 to $30 a night. It's manageable, but you have to be prepared for some variability in cleanliness.
Now the mid-range.
Yes.
This is what we call the danger zone.
This is the trap. If your budget is, say, $80 to $120 a night for a hotel, you are very likely to be deeply disappointed. The sources all point to aging infrastructure. Musty rooms, plumbing that hasn't been updated, a general lack of renovation. You're basically just paying for the zip code, not for the quality of the room.
So this is where we pivot the strategy. My verdict for anyone in that comfort traveler bracket. Skip the mid-range hotel entirely.
100%.
The sweet spot is an Airbnb in Ipanema, Leblon, or Botafogo. For $90 to $120 a night, you can get a nice, clean, modern studio apartment.
Better security, modern conveniences, and you can cook for yourself, which helps avoid the gringo tax on every single meal.
At the high end.
The luxury is profound. You're talking the Fasano, the Copacabana Palace. That's $400 to $600 a night, easily. But there you're buying insulation from the city's problems.
Okay, let's talk food, because this is where the value proposition really shifts back in your favor. If you know the hacks.
This is where you can save a lot of money.
The true budget hack.
Salad.
Ergatos.
Right. Savory pastries like coxinhas, which are these fried dough balls with chicken, or pão de queijo, cheese bread. They're about $1.50, maybe $2. A huge acai bowl can be a full meal for $3 to $5.
What about a real meal?
This is the Brazilian lifeline, the por kilo restaurants.
By the kilo. A buffet where they weigh your plate.
Exactly. And it's not a sad buffet. You load up on rice, beans, pasta, grilled meats, tons of salads and vegetables.
And you can get good meat.
You can often get high-quality picanha, the top sirloin cap, grilled right there. You can easily build a massive, healthy, high-protein plate of food for just $10 to $15. It's way better value than a sit-down restaurant in that price range.
And the high end. You mentioned world-class dining. Is it worth it?
It absolutely is, because the cost difference compared to other cities is huge. Rio has serious culinary spots, like Otake or Lasai. You're looking at a world-class tasting menu for maybe $150 to $200 per person.
Which in New York or Paris would be
$500, easy. So the quality to price ratio at the very top end is exceptional.
Transport is a big win for the budget.
Huge win. It helps balance out the high cost of accommodation. Uber is ridiculously cheap by Western standards. A 20-minute ride across town from Ipanema to Botafogo is usually only $4 to $6.
And the metro.
The metro system is a masterpiece. It's clean, it's incredibly safe, and it's efficient. It costs about $1.20 per ride. If you're staying in Botafogo, it's your lifeline to the rest of the city.
But the warning, rush hour surge pricing.
It's aggressive. You try to get an Uber at 5:30 on a Friday, and that $6 ride can easily become $12 or $15. You have to factor that into your daily plan.
And finally, activity costs. The beach is free.
But the chair and umbrella rentals are not. Budget about $2 for a chair, $2 for an umbrella.
And the big attractions.
They carry a premium as you expect. Sugarloaf is pretty steep, about $30 per person. Grace the Redeemer is around $25 to $30.
Okay, so let's put this all together. Give us the daily budget summaries for our listener.
Okay, 3 profiles. First, the scraper. You're staying in a hostel dorm, eating street food and per kilo using the metro. You can manage Rio on about $50 a day as long as you're not going out drinking every night.
Next, the comfort traveler.
This is the mid-range guest. You're in an Airbnb, you're using Uber, you're having one nice sit-down meal a day, and you're going to the big sites. You should budget about $150 per person per day to be comfortable and secure.
And finally, the baller.
This is the luxury tier. You're at the Fasano, using private drivers, eating tasting menus. You start at $500 a day and go up from there.
So the conclusion on value is the hotels are a bad deal.
The hotels are often poor value, but the incredibly cheap transport and the high-quality, low-cost local food balance the books. A comfortable trip is very achievable if you just avoid that mid-range hotel trap.
Okay, this segment is critical. This is where a trip goes wrong. The planning traps and the essential fixes.
These are the high-friction mistakes that tourists make over and over again because they're relying on old information.
Let's start with trap number 1. The Copacabana Mirage. Everyone knows the name, so everyone books their first trip there. Why is this such a huge mistake?
Because the reality, like we said, is that it's past its prime. The decay is visible, it's incredibly crowded, and the back streets get sketchy really fast after dark. The logistical stress of just being there is higher than it needs to be.
And the fix is so simple.
Just stay one beach over. We strongly recommend Ipanema. It's more upscale, it's safer, it's more walkable. Or even better, Leblon, which is the quiet, high-end residential area, though it's pricier.
And for a budget traveler?
Pivot to Botafogo. It's been called the Brooklyn of Rio. It's a great hipster neighborhood with fantastic bars, an amazing direct view of Sugarloaf, and crucially, it's a major hub on the Metro line. Great value.
Okay, trap number 2. The sunset bottleneck at Sugarloaf. A classic mistake.
Everyone, and I mean everyone, decides to watch the sunset from the top of Sugarloaf Mountain. And the view is spectacular, but the reality of getting down is a nightmare.
You're stuck.
You spend the next 2 hours in a massive line, trapped on a rock in the dark with thousands of tired, impatient people. It ruins the whole experience.
So the fix is all about timing.
Go early. Go at 8:30 in the morning. You'll have the mountain almost to yourself. Or, and this is the real local hack, skip the line and the cost entirely. Go to the Urca wall, the Mureta de Urca at the base of the mountain.
And what's the vibe there?
It's free, it's authentic, it's way better. You buy a cold beer from a vendor, sit on the seawall, and watch the same sunset with locals. You're in the culture, not looking down on it from a tourist platform.
Trap number 3. The carnival calendar error. People think booking the week after Carnival is a smart move.
It's a terrible move. The reality is the entire city has a collective, paralyzing hangover.
Yeah.
The energy is gone. Services are slow. Restaurants are closed. People are exhausted. You've traveled all that way to find a ghost town.
So the fix is?
Go 2 weeks before Carnival for the street parties, the blockos. You get all the energy without the peak prices. Or wait a full month after for the city to recover.
Let's talk connectivity. This is a safety issue. Don't rely on your expensive Western roaming plan.
Don't do it. It's slow. It's unreliable. Get a local SIM. An eSIM like Airalo is good for data, but for the best reliability, go to a big pharmacy, a Drogeria Raya, and buy a physical VVO chip. You can usually get one with just your passport.
And payments. Brazil runs on their system called Pix,
which tourists can't really access. But the good news is you can use credit cards and Apple Pay almost everywhere. We found like 90% compatibility, even with the beach vendors. Carry a little cash for tips, but cards are king and much safer.
Finally, essential gear and attire. This is a safety protocol.
It is. We have to stress this. Leave expensive jewelry at home, wedding rings, gold chains, flashy watches, all of it.
Why?
It's a visual signal of wealth that paints a target on your back. Swap out your Apple Watch for a cheap $20 Casio. The goal is to dress down completely.
What's the uniform?
Havaianas, the local flip-flops, simple board shorts, an old t-shirt, anything that screams travel clothes like zip-off pants or hiking boots is a dead giveaway that you're an easy mark. Blend in.
Okay. Now we have to address the core question directly. Is Rio safe? We said no, but that the risk is manageable. Let's get into what that means.
You have to internalize this one truth. Rio is a zone of high opportunistic crime. It's not a war zone. Tourists aren't being systematically targeted. But small-time criminals are constantly looking for the moment you look distracted or complacent.
So what are the primary risks based on the sources? What should people be actively defending against?
There are three in order of how common they are. Number one, by a huge margin, is phone theft.
The snatch and grab.
Exactly. Young guys on bicycles or scooters, they snatch the phone right out of your hand while you're looking at a map or taking a picture. They are incredibly fast and they're gone in seconds.
Okay, number two.
The aristom. This is much rarer, but it's a higher impact risk, especially on the beach. It's a coordinated mass robbery. A gang runs through a crowded area, creates panic, and just grabs every unattended bag in their path.
And the protocol if that happens?
Stay down, protect your valuables, do not resist.
And number three is more of a nightlife risk.
Scopolamine, or devil's breath. It's drink spiking, and it's most common in the heavy drinking areas like Lapa.
And this is particularly dangerous because
It's not like just being drunk. Victims often have little memory of what happened and are highly susceptible to suggestion. The classic scenario is being led to an ATM and emptying your account.
so the protocol is absolute.
Never ever leave your drink unattended. Watch the bartender make it, even if it's just a bottled beer.
This level of paranoia, is it really necessary for a vacation? Can you ever relax?
You can relax once the defense mechanisms become muscle memory, but the initial setup is non-negotiable. And the number one defense is the two-phone strategy.
We can't stress this enough.
It is essential security.
Okay, walk the listener through it. What do you need?
You need a cheap, old, or even cracked phone. This is your burner phone. You get a local Vivo SIM for it. And you have your main phone.
And how do you use them?
The burner phone is the only one you take out on the street. You install only two apps, Uber and Google Maps. And you download offline maps, so you don't even need data constantly. If you get robbed, you hand this over without a thought. There's nothing on it.
And the main phone.
Stays locked in the hotel safe. It has your banking apps, your photos, all your sensitive data. It never sees the light of day unless you're in a secure location.
And Uber etiquette is a key part of this. You said don't wait on the curb.
Right, because the criminals are watching. They see tourists standing there, phone out, screen lit up, refreshing the map. That's the moment they snatch it.
So the protocol is?
Wait inside a shop or a restaurant lobby until the app says your driver is 30 seconds away. Check the plate number, get in fast, and lock the door. No loitering.
Okay, the beach. How do you go for a swim without getting everything stolen?
You adopt a minimalist mindset. Only take what you are willing to lose. A towel, one credit card, a little cash, and your burner phone. That's it.
And you never leave it unattended.
Never. But there's a local code you can use.
Right.
You politely ask the person or the group sitting next to you to watch your stuff while you swim. They understand the risk. It's a common practice of community defense.
Let's move beyond crime to comfort. Health and climate. The heat in summer is something else.
Oppressive is an understatement. You're talking 40 degrees Celsius, which is 104 Fahrenheit, with punishing humidity. You have to be prepared to sweat through multiple shirts a day.
And water.
Do not drink the tap water. The municipal water is treated, but the aging pipe infrastructure means you just can't trust what comes out of the tap. Bottled or filtered water only.
And food safety on the street.
The ice in caipirinhas is usually safe. It's industrially made. The real danger is mayonnaise. Mayonnaise sitting out in that 40-degree heat on a street food cart.
So be careful with the ex-tudo burger.
Proceed with extreme caution. That's a serious challenge for an uninitiated stomach.
Finally, we have to talk about the favela question. This needs to be handled with extreme sensitivity.
And very clear rules. The warning here is unambiguous. Walking into a favela on your own, especially if you're just following Google Maps, is described by sources as suicidal.
People have been killed doing that.
They have. Google has routed tourists through contested areas, leading to fatal misunderstandings. Do not do it.
So what is the only acceptable way to go?
You only go with a local guide who lives there and runs an established tour, usually in a pacified community like Rosinia or Vidigal. And you go with radical respect.
What does that mean?
No photos of people without explicit permission, and absolutely no photos of the guys with walkie-talkies on street corners. They are lookouts. Drawing any attention to them is the fastest way to cause a crisis.
Okay. We've covered all the friction and the warnings. Let's talk about why you endure it. The highest highs. The moments that make it all worthwhile.
One of the most unique high points I found in the sources was just a simple morning run at the Lagoa Rodrigo de Freitas.
The big lagoon.
Yeah. Get there early, the air is calm, Christ the Redeemer is looking down over the water, and you see these surreal sights like giant capybaras, the world's largest rodents, just grazing peacefully by the water.
It shows you a different side of the city.
The quiet, livable side, a counterpoint to the usual roar.
For me, it was the ancestral vibe of Pedro do Sal on a Monday night.
The birthplace of samba.
The actual physical birthplace. It's in the chaotic port district, and it was packed shoulder to shoulder, intensely sweaty. The beer was super cheap, and the music, it felt ancient and profound.
And the whole crowd is into it.
Everyone's singing, everyone's swaying. It felt dangerous because of the crowd density, but also kind of holy because of the history. It's just raw cultural energy.
And a very different kind of high, more of a respite, is the Museum of Tomorrow.
The architecture is stunning.
But the crucial function is the air conditioning.
A very important function.
And the exhibits on climate change are genuinely thought-provoking, especially when you think about Rio's own vulnerable geography, squeezed between the mountains and the rising sea. It's a great intellectual and physical break from the heat.
All right, let's flip it. The biggest disappointments, the things you can absolutely skip. My number one is the Lapa Steps, the Escadaria Celeron.
Ugh. It's the dictionary definition of a place ruined by Instagram.
It's just overrun. You spend more time waiting for someone to finish their photo shoot than you do actually looking at the tiles.
And it smells like urine, let's be honest.
It does. It's high stress, low reward. It's just stairs. Glance at it and keep moving.
My disappointment was the high-end service culture. We've read so many accounts of people going to these famous, expensive bars, expecting polished service.
You're getting the opposite.
Glacial speed, indifference, sometimes just outright snobbishness.
Which is so strange because
the contrast is startling. You get better, friendlier, more efficient service from the guy selling you a cold tea on the beach than you do from the waiter in the luxury hotel.
So manage your expectations.
Do not expect American speed or Asian hospitality standards. The pace is slow and the attitude can be very detached.
Okay. What if someone has listened to all this and is thinking, this is just too much stress for a vacation?
A very valid thought. And you need strategic alternatives because Brazil is a massive country.
Option 1, Florianopolis, or Floripa, down south.
The pros are compelling. It's an island with 42 different beaches. It is significantly safer than Rio. The infrastructure works. And it's generally cheaper. It's a city that just functions better.
What's the trade-off?
It lacks that intense, raw, cultural thrum of Rio. It's more of a laid-back surfer vibe. If you're looking for that electric energy, Floripa will feel a bit muted.
Option 2, Salvador, in Bahia.
If your priority is culture, music, soul, Salvador is the Afro-Brazilian heartland. The music is incredible, and the food is arguably better and spicier than in Rio.
The trade-off there.
It's just as gritty and can be just as dangerous as Rio, if not more so in some areas. You're trading urban sprawl for a different kind of intensity. High culture, high danger.
But there is a way to get the best of both worlds. The combo itinerary.
This is what we highly recommend. It lets you get a taste of the chaos and then decompress completely.
So the plan is to limit your time in Rio.
Exactly. Go for 3 high-intensity days, hit Sugarloaf in the morning, experience the beaches, feel that rush. Then you immediately transfer bus and a ferry to Ilha Grande.
And Ilha Grande is the antidote to Rio.
It's the perfect stress foil. It's a big island, no cars allowed, pristine beaches, dense jungle, and crucially, it is totally safe. You can walk around at 3 a.m. without a care in the world.
It resets your brain.
It completely decompresses the psychological strain of the city.
So you get a perfect 1-week trip, 3 days of high-octane city adventure, followed by 4 days of total relaxation and nature.
It's the best of both worlds.
All right, time for the final verdict. Pulling it all together, the logistics, the cost, the energy. Is Rio worth the complexity?
The bottom line is Rio is not a vacation. It's an experience. It forces you to be constantly, profoundly present. You cannot be on autopilot.
The beauty is violent and the joy is loud.
Exactly. From a purely functional standpoint, it's inefficient, it's overpriced for what you get in accommodation, and it's risky. But that energy, that skyline, it's unparalleled.
Let's give our verdict by traveler type so you can use this as your guide.
Okay. The backpacker. Yes, it's an absolute rite of passage. Stay in Botafogo, eat street food, learn basic Portuguese. The one warning, do not get drunk and walk home alone, ever. Uber is mandatory after dark.
A mid-range couple.
This is a yes with severe caveats. If you are neurotic or highly anxious, you will despise the chaos. If you are adventurous and street smart, you will love it. We mandate the Illa Grande combo for this group to balance the intensity.
The family with young kids.
This is a hard NO. We strongly advise against it. The heat is too much for toddlers, strollers on the broken stone pavement are a nightmare, and the safety vigilance required means the parents can never, ever relax. Go to a resort in the Northeast instead.
And finally, the luxury traveler.
This is a maybe. If you're staying at the Fasano with private drivers, you'll be safe. But you will also be in a warm bubble, completely insulated from the raw electric energy of the real city. You won't really experience Rio.
So the final word for our listener.
Go. But you have to leave your ego at home. You have to internalize the safety protocols, and you have to bring a burner phone. The reward, that raw, unadulterated beauty, is absolutely worth the complexity.
So the final thought we'll leave you with, to mull over before you book those tickets. What is the true price, both financial and psychological, that you are willing to pay to experience beauty that is this raw, this magnificent, and this profoundly, chaotically alive?